Hi, I'm Stephen Blake from OldPain2Go and OldStuff2LetGo. Two things I created to help people out of pain, either physically or emotionally. One of my major things I've helped people with is anxiety. And so today I'm just going to give you a few tips from what I've learned of helping thousands of people. So the main thing in life is when something bothers us, it falls into one of two camps. There's something we can do about it. We might not be able to do that yet, but there's something we can do about it. And our focus should be on what can we do about this and when can we do it. And the other thing is there's nothing we can do about it. So there's things that concern us, quite often about other people, somebody you love or care for is ill, or you feel in some way this empathy for somebody else in a poor situation. Now, if we can't do anything about it, then the only thing we can change is how we feel about it. So it's about taking a lot of that emotion away. Because as I've helped people with anxiety, even though I have an understanding of their pain, I don't want to feel their pain. I can't help them if I'm feeling exactly as they feel. Now, I might have felt it myself in the past in similar circumstances, but I don't want to feel their pain. I want to help them out of their pain. And it's the same for anything that you're thinking about where you can't do anything about it. The best you can do is just change how you feel about it, which will change the chemicals going around your body, which will make you feel better, and you'll be better able to support the person who's going through things. So here's my main technique. It's called auto-REM. I created this about a year ago, and it's a technique now used by lots of therapists. And it's a very simple one based on the fact that when our eyes move, it's accessing parts of the brain. And if we're thinking about something, when we think about it, we almost bring it out as real. And then we poke it back in the head but we poke it back in the new format of how we thought about it. So we change things and then we put it back in there. So when we fret about things, we're actually bringing it out, looking at the most extreme, how bad it can go, and putting it back in the most extreme form of what it could be. So it's about changing that process to become something that says, well, if there's nothing I can do about it, all I can change is the way I feel. If there's something I can do about it, then I have to think, what is that best thing, and then do it. So this is about when there's nothing you can do about it, this is about changing those feelings. So first of all, whenever you're feeling a certain way and then it suddenly changes into a bit of a panic or a more anxious feeling, you might already be feeling anxious. A lot of people with anxiety have anxiety already at a level all the time in their lives. And I would say to you, get some help for that, because that really can be dropped down to how it should be, not running at all until you need it. We shouldn't constantly feel anxious. There's no reason to keep that. I've helped thousands of people who've been anxious all their life, and that can go away, and it only comes out when you need it. But if you're anxious quite a lot of the time, when it suddenly changes to this overwhelming anxiety, there's just one thing you need to do in that instant. You need to catch it quickly, and you need to say to yourself, am I in any physical danger? Now it feels real, yeah? You're getting chemicals, you might be getting fight or flight, so you can run off or fight the beast or the thing that's going to attack you. But that's just an old sensation, it's an old trigger for an old memory of something. And when we get that feeling, if we just go, right, am I in any physical danger? So look round, because one of these days it might be a large noise made by a bus coming at you and you need to get out of the way of it, yeah? So we check first, am I in any physical danger? Even if you feel that you're in danger, it's nothing to do with that. Am I about to be hurt in some way physically? And then you can relax into, well, no, I'm not. Now, it's not helpful to say, why do I feel like this? What's caused it? I need to find the answer. That just takes us further into that anxiety. If we just say, well, right, now, this is an old program I'm running. Okay, I'm not physically in danger, I'm running an old program. And then you can do any of a number of techniques to relax and just let go of that sensation. The longer you leave it before you do something about it, the more it's pumped chemicals around your body. And as it pumps chemicals around your body shape changes to become in that, oh, I think I am in danger. And when the mind and the body lock together and they go, oh, yes, we are in danger, it just reinforces it and you get locked into that anxiety. So the moment we realise we're not in danger, we relax, we take a bit of deep breathing, not fast breathing because that will over hyperventilate. So, or stopping your breathing, but just be calm with your breathing. And even sort of holding it between breaths so that you just get that sensation. And you breathe in and you hold on to it for a bit and you let go. Right? Now, straight away, just change your body shape. When we're under threat, we close in on ourselves. And this is joyous. Right? And you can't feel threatened if you're joyous. So I'm not asking you to go down the road like that, but I am going to say, well, just put your shoulders back. I'm not in any danger. And then allow that message to go to the brain to say, you don't need to produce all those chemicals and make me feel fearful because there's nothing going on here. And that alone, if you did it on its own often enough, would stop you from having those reactions to something that the senses have picked up on, that's triggered off an old memory, and it triggers off, well, you'll need these chemicals. Yeah? But you can get help for this, and it can go away, absolutely. Yeah. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at changing how we feel. Now, if you've gone further into that state and you're now absolutely sure something bad's going to happen to you, I understand this. I was claustrophobic for many, many years, and I had massive panic attacks. And I actually cured myself about 6 years ago. So I can go in confined spaces and all sorts of things now because I realised that wasn't what it was telling me about. It was about lack of oxygen. Whole different other story. So when we've allowed ourselves to be calm, then we can just go about our daily work. Now, if we get overwhelmed with these feelings, you can change it, and you can change it quite easily. And you can even set this up in advance. So I'm going to take you through something now that you can join in with. And in a few moments, all I'm going to ask you to do is close your eyes and sit back in the chair. Yep. So obviously this isn't hypnotic, but you wouldn't want to do this in a car, particularly if you're driving. Or even let the driver be affected if you're listening and they can hear it. Yeah. So what we're going to do in a few moments is we're just going to relax. I'm going to close our eyes. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to tap into something that you do every night when you go to sleep, and it's called REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Now, we're not going to need the sleep part of it. We're just going to have the rapid eye movement. Now, there are lots of techniques that are very good where a therapist will help you move your eyes in certain directions by guiding you and help you to achieve what you want to achieve. And this is one that you can do on your own. So we can tap into that REM, that rapid eye movement, because the eyes move about as they're storing things from the day. You're not aware of it, but the eyes know where to go. And in everybody, there's two sides to the mind or to the brain. And it's not strictly true, but one side's emotional and the other side's logical. And when we're thinking about something that really bothers us, we're in the emotional side of the brain and there's not much logic there. So by simply moving the eyes and allowing them to go where they want to bring more of a balance between the emotions and the logic, we suddenly aren't overwhelmed by the emotion of it. We still get some of the emotion, but the logic sort of counteracts it, and it turns it into more of a sensible thing that you can think about. Yeah, you stop being overwhelmed by the over powerful emotional side of it. So this is anything that you think about that bothers you. So I want you to now think of something that bothers you. I want you to choose something that you can't do anything about, because otherwise you get locked into the detail of what can I do about it. So think about somebody you love or care for who's ill, or in circumstances that they ought to get out of but they're not getting out of it. Something like that. Something you can't do anything about, because you're only responsible for you in this life. And if we do everything that we should do and take care of ourselves and are kind to ourselves, it leaves us more available to help others when they want and need our help. But we can't just impose ourselves on others saying this is how it should be. So think of somebody, think of something where you can't do anything about it, but you get this overwhelming emotion when you think about it, which then tends to put you off thinking about it. And give it a number out of 10, 0 being it doesn't bother you, in which case I don't know why you picked it, and 10 is this really feels bad. And give it a number out of 10 now. Okay, now I just want you to sit back in your chair. I just want you to really, really relax. Get yourself as comfortable as possible and just close your eyes now. Now your eyes know what to do. They're just going to balance out these thoughts and feelings over the next minute or so. It's a very quick process. Just allow your eyes to move wherever they want to go now to balance out this emotion and add more logic to it. Just let it happen now. Now, if you feel your eyes aren't moving, they most likely are. But if you really feel that they're not moving at all, just move them side to side a couple of times and then let your unconscious mind take over. Just run it for you. And when I talk about the unconscious mind, I talk about the bit of you that runs your heart and your lungs and your body and your eyes and everything else. It knows what to do. You don't have to do anything. You're just going to sit there and relax while your eyes move wherever they feel they ought to go to balance this issue out, this problematic thing that you're thinking about, just for the next few moments. This will probably take a minute, 2 at the most. Take as long as you like. And all I'm going to say to your unconscious now to open your eyes for you as soon as it's finished the process, so that you don't have to think, has it finished or whatever. It will open your eyes for you. They'll just naturally open up and you'll come back into the room. Just give you a few seconds to complete that. And if you've still got your eyes closed, you can still listen. Yeah, and for those of you that open your eyes, well done. So that's a technique that what you should find now is that if you think about that thing again, or if you try to think about that thing again, you might not even find it, or it might be so vague as to, well, what was I thinking about? Because there'll be so little emotion with it that you'll even wonder why you were concerned with it. Or it will take it down to a level that is a lot better for you. It's a lot more manageable. It's a lot more that you can deal with it. You know? And for any issue, really, you only need to do it once, particularly if it comes down to a low level. But if it still bothers you, you can do this again at a later date. And the unconscious is now being primed to say, this isn't something that I need to worry about, panic about, have anxiety over. This is something that I can manage, particularly if it's not about you. because there's nothing you can do, say, or change to help that person other than be there for them. And you can't be there for them if you actually make them feel worse because you feel worse than they do. So I would have thought by now all of you will have your eyes open. So I'm going to talk about a technique. Still keep them closed if you need to. I'm going to talk about a technique just to finish off with. And this is called the hand flip. Now, I'm not quite sure whether I found this somewhere and altered it, or I'm teaching it pretty much how I had it taught, or I created it. I have no idea about this. There's so many things I've done that forgive me anybody if you've taught me this, and I'm not going to try and take the credit for it. I don't know where I got it from. And the idea is this, is that when we think in terms of negatives, I don't want this to happen, our unconscious mind that fetches everything for us, that makes our legs work to push us towards things, that makes us reach out with our hands physically for things, when we say I don't want, we actually demonstrate sort of like, I don't want a panic attack. I don't want a panic attack. And then we get the chemicals and look at my change of face. I don't want a panic attack. And that's just me pretending. Yeah, that's sent terrible chemicals around my body. So if we do have a sort of panic attack, we are actually sending chemicals out. And then we go, I don't want this. Well, this is crazy. This is showing the unconscious what you don't want. Like, I don't want a panic attack. I don't want a panic attack. I don't want to go red in the face. And then we go, and that's what I don't want. You don't need to tell anybody or anything what you don't want. You have to tell it what you do want. So this is a method of flipping things over. So imagine in that case, I don't want a panic attack. Well, what do you want? Well, I'm going for a job interview. I want to be confident. Can you see now my body shape's changed? I'm not going red in the face. I want to be confident. I want that job tomorrow. Yeah. And the unconscious understands that, and it'll help you feel confident the next day. But if you tell it what you don't want, particularly if you say it with passion, it will fetch you the very thing you don't want, and it will make sure you get it because you said it with passion. So we're going to move away from constantly giving the unconscious the wrong idea into giving it that clarity. And it's as simple as this. I want you to imagine that the palm of your hand has negative written on it, and that the back of your hand has positive. You can even write it on with ballpoint pen if you like. And all you do is, when something's really bothering you and you're chewing it over and you're worried about it, is you pop your hand out. And I want you to do this with me now. Think of something else that bothers you. Pop your hand out. Think of a number out of 10 how much it bothers you. And I want you to do this as though it's real now. I want you to go and get your head and pull that thing out. That thought process, and I want you to shove it on your hand, and I want you to make it as real as possible. So give it a feeling, give it a weight, imagine a texture to it and a colour, and as you bounce your hand up and down, if it bothers you a lot, it will probably feel quite weighty. You'll feel that there's something there. I want you to give it a smell, give it a sensation. And just when you've got it there and it feels quite real, all you're going to do is you're going to know that that's the negative. And if you keep thinking about the negative is what you're going to get. So now you're going to go like that. And now you'll feel slightly different because whatever we do in the head feels very real. So when we've dropped it, it's sort of like gone. Now look at the back of your hand and it will say positive. So whatever you're thinking about, you were thinking it in negative terms. I don't want this. So now what do you want? Think of restructuring it, thinking of reframing it in a different way. That was what I didn't want. What would I like to happen? What would I like the outcome to be? What would be the best outcome out of this that would please me? Yeah. So we're going to do that again. So I just want you to shake off, because this is removing the muscle memory of the tension and the shape of, oh, that was horrible. Yeah. So just shake off a bit. And now here we go. So we're going to start doing this a little bit faster. So I want you now to think of that thing. For some of you, you won't even be able to remember it. And for the rest of you, I want you to think of that thing and notice how it's changed, how it's gone lower in the numbers. And here's what we're going to do. So we're going to put the hand out, we're going to cup it, we're going to get ready for this, and we're going to go in, we're going to fetch that thing out, we're going to put it on the hand, we're going to make it real, we're going to bounce it up and down, we're going to give it shape, colour, we're going to look at it now, we're going to roll it around, and as soon as it feels real, we're going to do that. Flick it away from you. Okay? Now, here we go. We put the hand out, we go in again, we try and fetch it out, and we put it on the hand, and we make it real, and we move it about, and we look at it, and then we flick it. We put the hand out, we go in, we fetch the remains of it, we put it on there. We look at it now, we go, oh, that's a lot less now, and then we go like that. And then we go one more time, and we go in there, and we fetch this thing out, and put it on the hand, and then we look at it, we make it real, and we throw it away. And then we look at the positive on the back of the hand. And then we reframe it into what we want, not what we don't want. So there's a couple of little tips for you. You can share this around as much as you like. Just remember to be kinder to yourself, because whatever happened to you in your past is in the past, and there's only you beating yourself up about it now. You can be kinder to yourself and your life will change. You will feel so much better. You have so much love inside you to give away, and that's my mission for you now, is to give your love away every day, because it's the only thing that we give away that it doesn't deplete us of. When we give love and we show love to other people, particularly unconditional love, and unconditional love is, I'm going to send out my love, I'm going to show everybody and make everybody feel loved, and I'm not going to ask for it in return. I've shown you love, you've got to show me it back. And if we give out unconditional love, we actually feel more love ourselves. We get people feeling loved, and they pass their love on to everybody else. And then we get love back from all sorts of different directions we didn't expect it from, because it's unconditional. And we shouldn't expect it back from anywhere, any particular place, but we get it back from everywhere. And then we've got so much love, we have to keep giving it away. So that's your mission from now on. Take care of yourself, give love away, and just allow yourself to relax into knowing that our thoughts aren't real. We make them real. And you can change those thoughts by thinking about what you want, not what you don't want. I've been Stephen Blake. You've been a fabulous audience. So thank you so much, and take care of yourself.